Shelly. Welcome ASID AZ North team, and this is Ferguson Kitchen Lighting Gallery. Come on down to take a look at our showroom. If you come over here, we have a lot of different vignettes. Here's what we call a vignette, where we kind of let customers envision what their home with all the products look like. So if you walk around our showroom, you'll see a variety of vignette options. In addition to that, we have a lot of different kitchen setups as well. Here, this is where we call our kitchen area. So you'll see various faucet pods that you're welcome to play with as you want to check out how the springs are loaded in the neck. We also have a variety of different sink basins here. These are drawers, so we encourage our customers to open them. And we have live kitchens. So for example, if somebody ever wants to actually try out the product, we have in some of the kitchens, they are live. This is our, what we call our demo kitchen. And so we'll have parties. It's not being used today, but we'll have parties in there so that people can see the food and do the cooking in action. But you are welcome to come in here and tap these. And did you notice that I tapped it? So these are all something that you can go in and play and feel and touch. Here's Blue Star, one of our kitchens that offer color. So nowadays, some people want to have a pop of color in their kitchen, so this is definitely a brand that is an option. Over here, we have Monogram. Some of the different manufacturers offer different type of handles, as you can see here. So nice beveling on the handles. When we come to this kitchen, this is an extension of the Wolf Kitchen. We have Jen Air over here. So everybody has a large variance of price points. So we offer the whole gamut. Here over here we have Bosch. So this is, I would say, a mid-tier. So again, where possible, we encourage the touch and feel. And so these particular knobs you can turn, and if needed, we can definitely switch the different shower heads so that people can kind of see how they function. I have yet to have someone come in with a swimming suit to try it out, though. As you come over here, you'll see quite a bit of different faucet and showering styles to choose from. We have various brands that you can see. There's, I don't know the count, but there are a lot of different options. You can come through here and see all our offering, in addition to seeing all the accessories. One of the most popular vanities that we have is this Kohler Studio McGee. That is a very popular model for us. It was a partnership with that designer. Very cool. We also have our cabinet hardware displayed over there, and this is where I don't know if you've caught on video all the lighting that we have, but we also have a lot of bath bars as we continue to go this way into the showroom. This is our laundry area. I wanted to call out LG. LG is the sponsor along with Ferguson this evening, so we thank them for their partnership and the sponsorship of tonight. We're going to have a couple more places to look at. This is what we call our discount appliance area. So, for example, some of these came off of display. Some of them perhaps went out to the job site and it had a cosmetic issue of some kind. So then we'll bring them into this room, and then customers can come in and look at, the offerings as it relates to either displays or maybe it was a scratch and dent model of some kind. I wanted to showcase one other area that I forgot to mention earlier is Gaganow. So I mentioned La Cornue earlier that had a really unique look as probably the most premium line that we have in the showroom, but this brand as well, very high-end look.
All right, we are thrilled to have you all here and particularly excited about our program this evening as it's focused on wellness. As designers, we often so focused on the needs of others that it can be easy to neglect ourselves. We've all been there. But to do our best work and build the future we each desire, we must focus on prioritizing our well-being. So this evening is going to be all about giving you the tools to instill wellness habits into your daily routine. Our hope is you leave here refreshed and recharged, ready to take on 2025 with gusto. I want to thank Ferguson for providing this beautiful space.
Sorry to interrupt. Just
I have a problem, I can't speak that loud, but I'm going to try. I want to thank Ferguson for providing this beautiful space that's so aligned with tonight's theme. They've also provided a spread of healthy, nutritious food from Peter Jungle and drinks, so please enjoy. A couple of announcements before I welcome our speakers for this evening. Our annual Student Career Day is coming up this April. If you are looking to hire for an intern, we would like to participate in the job fair, please connect with our Professional Development Director, Beth Cochran. In the next month, we'll also be opening submissions for the Design Excellence Awards, so be on the lookout for details to follow. And in March, we have something really exciting coming up called Design Edge. We'll be sending out details about that in the coming weeks. Great CEU opportunities there, and absolutely a great event to attend. With that, I'd like to introduce the fabulous experts who will be guiding us through this evening. First, Shanna, founder of the Healing Collective, will lead us through a therapeutic sound bath, a real treat if you haven't experienced this before. This will get us ready for Alicia Citro, author of Higher Self Habits, who will share how to design behaviors intentionally so they can become habits. Dr. Patty Gonzalez, founder of Innate Roots, will discuss the biology of stress and how it affects our bodies. She will demonstrate how you can work with your lymphatic system to reduce stress and promote well-being. And lastly, Brittany Bejarano, okay, I tried that 3 times there. Brittany Bejarano, founder of Be Fit Naturally, will share how stress is the biggest contributor to chronic inflammation and how to manage it with natural Ayurvedic supplementation and other simple daily activities to re-regulate your nervous system. Now, I invite you to take a deep breath, get comfortable in your seat, and get ready to recharge. All yours.
Hi, everybody. I'm Shauna Pena, and I'm the founder of the Healing Collectiva. Thank you so much for that. I'm glad you all are here tonight, and I'm excited for you to experience this. How many of you have been to a sound bath before? A few of you? Well, I'm excited for the ones that haven't experienced it yet. What I will tell you, I don't want to spend a ton of time talking about all the science and the benefits, but, talking about system regulation of the nervous system, that's the main thing for me. There are so many, it gets into your cellular level, and it helps you to drop into a state where your body can do its own healing. A lot of us are running around, we've got really busy lives. The texts are going off and the emails are coming and the phone calls are coming in, and, we're a little stressed out. And so how can we drop into that parasympathetic, get into that state of calm so we can actually enjoy what's going on around us, have a little bit of peace, have some healing occur naturally. And it's been, I don't know, 3 or 4 years since I found sound healing. I went to my first sound bath. It blew my mind. I will say all sorts of different things you'll experience. You can release emotions. That's okay. It's totally okay. Generally, people are laying down and they're on a mat with an eye mask. They might fall asleep. I always tell them if they do, it's a compliment to me, because they were able to relax enough. And, you drop into different states when you sleep, delta and theta, and, you hear about all these brain waves. Well, the sound bath, if you can release and let yourself go, it can help you get into that state where you are going to activate your own healing system. So dropping into the parasympathetic. And what else do I want to say? Just like suspend belief, let yourself go. I'm going to ask you to start by taking a few deep breaths. So if you would right now, just close down your eyes and taking a deep breath through your nose, down into your belly, full breath. And hold it for a couple of seconds, and then release the breath through your mouth. And then we're going to do 2 more rounds of breath, of what I call a box breath, because I really want you guys to get relaxed before I start this. Box breath is going to be 4 seconds in through the nose, hold for 4 seconds, release for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds. So starting now. In through the nose, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Now, just let yourself start to relax. And I'm going to ask you to focus on the top of your head. Keep your eyes closed if that feels comfortable for you. And at the top of your head, we're going to gently do a body scan before I begin. So, relaxing the eyes, bring attention to your eyes. Relax those muscles. Now, gradually going down to your jaws. Relax your jaws. Maybe let your tongue fall away from the roof of your mouth. Your throat. Then your shoulders. Let your shoulders drop. Let them just relax at your side. Down to your stomach. Just let it go. Just let yourself relax. Down to your hips, your quads, your knees, then your toes. Just let yourself go. Gradually bringing your awareness back to your breath. Can you sense the air around your skin in the room? The surface beneath you? Bringing your attention to the top of your head. Maybe wiggling your fingers, slightly wiggling your toes, beginning to come back into presence. Taking a couple of deep, nourishing breaths, gently opening your eyes while keeping your gaze soft. See what you see. See what you notice. Thank you.
How do you feel?
Really good.
Relaxing? That's so wonderful. It's absolutely amazing, Sean. Thank you so much.
Great to be here with all of you. So my name is Alicia Citro, as Amber said. I wrote a book about habits because it was what I needed. So as they're getting the slides up, I'll give you a little bit of the background. So I'm a mom, a wife. Busy as a badge of honor was how I rolled for a long time. Anyone relate to that? Overloaded calendar. Became a big tech corporate dropout and did a lot of the same toxic things I did in corporate, grinding, hustling as an entrepreneur, and burned out again and again. And so habits were really the thing that saved my life. Now I'm thriving. I like to say that 2025 is going to be the year 2020 thrive, right? Can we all get on board with that? And it really starts with habits. They're the foundation of everything. So while they're getting the slides pulled up too, how's volume? I'm Italian, so I typically don't have a problem speaking loud enough, but I did a little louder. All right. How's that? All right. So I do want to warn the gentlemen in the room. Typically, I'm speaking to rooms of only women. So some of this may not apply to you, but having said that, if you have any women in your life that you love or that frustrate you, I think I will also enlighten you a bit tonight. Okay, so with that, so I already told you who I am. Also, anyone know about the Enneagram here? Okay. I share the fact that I'm an Enneagram 7 because if you know anything about the Enneagram, 7s love to have fun and be spontaneous and hate structure. So I'm a really unlikely person to talk about habits, but that's why I love doing this because I am making them fun again and showing you a way to make them flexible. So I'm also on a mission to help typically visionary female founders, but also all of you be, do, and have more of what matters in your business and your life with less effort. One of the ways I do this is helping people with tech stuff, setting up podcasts and doing that without a whole lot of effort, but also putting the things on autopilot in your life that are currently energy vampires. Okay, can we all get on board with that? So a reframe before we start. So, you know, I used to say, oh, I'm a habits coach, and I stopped introducing myself that way because it's a really good way for someone to tell you where the door is and kick you out of a party. No one wants to work on their habits, right? So what if I offered a reframe if you also have this reaction to habits? What if instead of them feeling constrictive and like this long list of things you have to do day in and day out, what if you instead reframed it to feel a bit more expansive? What if you could transmute them into a menu of supportive, flexible rituals that you intentionally designed to help you thrive? So at the end of this, I'm going to show you how to design habits. Once you know how to do this, it's like a superpower. You can teach it to your kids, your partners, your roommates. It has the ability to really change your life and make it a lot more harmonious. So quick agenda, I'll tell you a little bit about the method that I accidentally created that changed my whole life. Then how you can align daily habits to you, the habits hierarchy, because believe it or not, there is an order in which to focus on things. And then finally, how to design habits. So first, I love to set an intention. Just take a quick second here, and by the time I'm done rambling on at you, I'll try not to ramble. By the time I'm done talking to you, what would you love to learn? How could habits change your life? And importantly, how do you want to feel? Do you want to feel empowered, capable, knowledgeable? Walk that in real quick. All right, so the method. So everyone here, anyone heard of a downward spiral before? Maybe you've been on one or you know someone? Yeah, me too. I've been there. Well, what if we could flip it? What if we could upward spiral instead? And so this is what I accidentally stumbled upon. I told you, I was a corporate dropout and had all these toxic traits, right? One of them was, I didn't tell you this, I had built a 7-figure online wine business during COVID, and an unfortunate side effect of that business is that I became a high-functioning alcoholic. Yeah, that's true. I'm alcohol-free now. It's all good. But I realized as I kicked that habit, because that's really what it was, I don't believe I was chemically addicted, I was behaviorally addicted. When I kicked that habit, I inadvertently created this method. So at first, it starts with awareness. You have to be aware of what it is you want to change and where you are in your own way. The subtitle of my book is The Scientific, Strategic, and Spiritual Framework to Get Out of Your Own Way for Good. The first step to getting out of your own way is becoming aware. The next is align. You have to know what the target is you're aiming for if you're going to hit it. Who are you created to be? What are you here for? And then you build your habits and you aim towards that. The next is audit. This sounds more fun than it is. I probably don't have any accountants in the room. Yeah, I know. We're creatives here, yeah. This sounds more fun than it is, I promise. It's what to stop, start, continue in your life. Then finally, once you know all those things, you activate. You put this all to work. This is where we're going to design behaviors. And then the last stage is you ascend. And now you're in this upward spiral. So with every rotation, you now have new levels of awareness, new things you can align to, and on and on and on it goes. No finish line with this personal development stuff, by the way, in case you didn't figure that out yet. It took me a little while, but I finally embraced it. Okay. So awareness. I just want you to have this in the forefront of your mind as I'm taking you through this, because I think it's going to help you unlock and make it a bit more tangible. So the first is, where and how are you in your own way, and where and how do limiting beliefs show up for you now? Do you get that negative voice saying, who are you to do this? Oh, no. You're not good enough for that. Oh, so-and-so does it better than you. Whatever it is, right? Does it show up as self-sabotaging behavior? Whether that's going on a spending spree when you don't need to, or you were really good all week with your fitness goals and now all of a sudden you find yourself eating cheesecake at midnight. I don't know, whatever it is, you get the point. Where and how do you show up in your own way? Okay, so now with that, aligning daily habits to you, but again, reframing to rituals. Doesn't that feel a lot better than habits? Okay, maybe I should rename my book. That'll come later. Okay, so the first is habits creation. Okay, men and women do this differently. Has anyone heard of the book Atomic Habits? Okay, who wrote that book? Anyone know? James Clear, yes. You're going to see this pattern emerge really quick. How about High Performance Habits? Anyone heard of it? Who wrote it? Brendan Burchard, yeah. Tiny Habits by Dr. B.J. Fogg. Great book, by the way. Read mine and then read his. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Dr. Stephen Covey, they're all written by men. It's me and Jen Sincero who have written a book on habits that are women. And I don't bring this up because I think the books that the men wrote are bad. I actually think they're wonderful. I bring it up because the men in the audience, they're wired a little bit differently than the women are. You boys are on a 24-hour hormone cycle, and us women are on a 28-day-ish hormone cycle. So how does that play out? Well, I'm about 4 different women throughout the month, depending on the phase of cycle. Yeah, just ask my husband, he'll confirm. Sometimes it's more, depends on the month. Whereas men, you are the same. It's like, anyone remember the movie Groundhog Day with Bill Murray? Same thing every day. And I'm painting with a broad brush. You are complex individuals too, but you have a much easier time doing the same thing day in and day out than we women do.
We like the same thing.
Yeah, you like the routine. My husband, he can do the same thing every day. I can't. Yeah, I need variety. I need spice. I need to keep things really interesting. He is a lot easier than I am. So I share this because typically I see women trying to build habits the way that men thrive with habits, and then they wonder what is wrong with them. Why can't they stick with the same thing day in, day out? So that is where this menu comes in, right? What are the things that you do that make you feel really good throughout the day, that make your whole day go better and easier? Does that mean, I have a 6-year-old daughter, so sometimes the best habit I can do in the morning is drink a cup of coffee while it's hot and no one's asking me for something. That's a really supportive habit, right? So maybe it's waking up a little earlier. Perhaps it's reading scripture. Maybe it's journaling. Maybe it's getting movement in. Maybe it's staying off your phone and getting sunlight before screens, right? All these different things. And you don't have to do all of them every day. But what do you feel like doing that day based on where you are in the month? And just honor that instead of thinking you have this long list of things you have to do, then you don't do it and you feel like crap. We're done with that. I also want to point out that there's a really necessary duality. So perhaps you've heard of masculine and feminine energy. It has nothing to do with gender actually, but it's like the yin and the yang, right? All of us need to have this in balance as best as we can. So habits are really important because they create the structure. They're like the glass, right? That's the masculine energy. And then the feminine energy is the flow, the creativity. So I always love to give this example because if you have no water, if you just have structure, you have an empty glass, and that really does you no good. And if you have no glass, you have no structure, you just have water, you got a mess on the floor. Now you got a mold problem you got to remediate. Oh, you warped that beautiful white oak floor. Shame on you, right? Fry your laptop, stain your clothes, whatever it is, right? So you got to have both, and that's where this method comes in. So imagine if you were to create rituals that were fluid versus rigid, a flexible structure that enables flow, compounding gains versus perfectionism. Do I have any perfectionists in the room? I say I'm in recovery, but am I really? It depends on the day. So if you can't get it exactly right, can you just make one step forward in the right direction? Because it all adds up. Shavings make a pile is one of my favorite sayings. I also love to look at everything through the lens of curiosity. So if you are trying to eat healthy day in, day out, and you miss a day, it's okay. Just with curiosity, okay, Wonder what would happen if I, meal planned and thought through my day a little bit better. How would I feel if I did that? Just curiosity instead of shoulding on yourself. On my tombstone, it will say, don't should on yourself. People are like, did you just say? No, I said should. Anyway. And also, no more obligation. Doing things because they feel good to you, not because you have to. And that also means saying no to more things, by the way. And then cyclical and rhythmic versus constant and constraining. Habits can feel suffocating if you try to do the same thing every single day. So instead, honoring your flow, honoring your creativity, and what feels really good for you. Okay, so where to start? So there is a habits hierarchy of needs. I borrowed this from a guy, Abraham Maslow. Maybe you've heard of him. Famous 20th century psychologist. You need a hierarchy because without it, you play whack-a-mole. Anyone remember this arcade game? Yeah, you're firing on all cylinders. Got that mole. Oh, one popped up over here. Okay, let me get that one. Oh, now this area in my life is crazy. So this helps you to create homeostasis and balance and harmony. So there's 5 layers. This is going to be almost impossible for you to read. Let me just click through them real quick. So at the base of the pyramid, you have physiological needs. These are the basic things that keep you alive. Sleep, nutrition, hydration, sunlight, basic movement. Nothing crazy here, right? Then you have safety, which is security, safety, stability. So that looks like having, kind of a constant stream of cash flow coming in perhaps, or harmony at home, whatever it might be. Belongingness and love needs. These are your relationships. Esteem needs, how you feel about yourself. Do you believe you're capable of what life throws at you? And then finally, self-actualization, which is like you are living your best life. So where do most people start when they create new habits? They're like, oh, I want to have a rockin' body by June, so I'm just going to go straight to self-actualization and just, have hot girl summer or whatever it is, right? No, you got to start at the bottom, because here's the thing. If you are chronically sleep deprived, you can try to do all the other things all you want. It's not going to happen. You're building a house of cards on sand, and you want to build on bedrock. Actually, let's use an analogy all of you would be familiar with. You probably have clients that are like, I want to pick up the finishes first and the rugs and the furniture. It's like, girl, we got to put a beam in or this whole house is going to come falling down, right? That's your basic stuff. So this is where no one ever wants to focus. You've got to make sure, are you tending to the basics? Are you hydrating? If not, what can make it easier to hydrate? You could carry an emotional support water bottle around with you like I do and get a straw. That makes it easier to drink water, right? Having a bedtime routine. I know it sounds like you're 7 years old, but it really helps. And do you have food on the go that you can eat versus skipping meals and getting a can of Pringles at the gas station and you feel like crap later and your brain stops working? Okay, we got to tend to the basics first, and then all the other stuff becomes way easier. Also, one quick thing I want to add too. This probably goes somewhere between belongingness and love and safety, but maybe one of the best habits many of you could create is boundaries with clients. Do any of you have really needy clients where you're playing therapist and they're texting you all? Yeah, I see some hands. Okay. So that might be your best habit to implement right out of the gate. Okay, so moving on to designing them. Okay, I love acronyms. I think it makes things super easy to remember. So you can remember the 4 components of every single behavior with the acronym ACTS. So the A is ambition. It's your desire to do a behavior. The C is capability. Can you do the behavior or not? The T is the trigger, the prompt, or the cue to do it. So this could look like a reminder, a phone notification, a Post-it note, etc. And then finally, satisfaction, the reward for doing it. I'm really curious, where do you think most people start when they go about designing actually, they're not designing. Where do you think most people start when they want to implement a new habit or create a New Year's resolution? Anyone create resolutions? Good, I hate them. I think they're not the vibe. I'm going to teach you a better way. Where do you think people start when they go about doing that, though? Satisfaction, yes, and ambition. How motivated am I to do this thing? It's January, so I'll use the example everyone knows. How many people join a gym and start going January 1st? If you know, I just went to the gym yesterday. You could have shot a cannon through the place, and it was January 15th. People fall off real quick. Why? I'm serious. Because ambition wears off. Motivation is fleeting. What's a better way to design? You focus on capability. You make it so easy to do it that you could do it with your eyes closed. And here's how you can remember to make a habit stick. You make it easier. Here's how you can remember to make it easier. If you have a behavior you really want to do, you know that this thing is good for you, but you are not doing it, I want you to ask yourself, WTF? No, not that one. Where's the friction? What's making this hard to do? The example I give in my book, which is one that you could all relate to, is something we tend to say, oh my gosh, that's such a simple thing. I should be able to get myself to do that. There's that word again. But it takes almost no friction for us to not do something. So for me, I'm working at a computer all the time, get like tight shoulders, you know. And my husband, he was a physical therapist before, and he taught me how to foam roll. Oh wow, I feel really good when I do that. I should foam roll every day. Okay. But I was not, because I have long hair and I wear it down and the foam roller would pull it and it hurts. So I'm like, I'm not going to do that. Okay, what would be the easy solution? Put your hair up. So where was the friction? Why didn't I do it? I would foam roll in the living room and my hair ties were on the other side of the house in the bathroom. And I have a beautiful home, but it takes me about 15 seconds to walk across. It's not like it's Buckingham Palace, okay? 15 seconds of friction. That was enough to keep me from foam rolling. So what could make it easier? Put the hair tie by the foam roll. And actually, all of you, when you're designing a kitchen or a bathroom, you're probably thinking about like, what is it, the work triangle? How can I make this so easy for my clients to like pivot and grab this thing they need while they're cooking and reach the fridge? If they had to go traverse the house to get the stuff to cook, that would be a terrible experience, right? You're making it easier for them. So it's the same way with habits. And if you want to stop a habit, make it harder. I just got a text, Girl Scout cookie season. Oh, my daughter's selling them. Oh God, here we go. I love them. I just don't want to eat that stuff, right? How can I make it harder? Because I still got to buy them from the girl next door. Let's be real. All of you do. You're not going to say no to her. So how can you make it harder not eat the Girl Scout cookies? You put it in a cabinet where A, it's out of sight, because now the trigger's gone. The prompt the cue to eat it's gone. And you make it harder. You put it in a cabinet where you got to like go and get the ladder out of the garage. I'm not doing that. I don't want a cookie that bad, right? You getting the point? So you want to not do something, make it harder. You want to do something, you make it easier. You can apply this to literally anything. I know these are kind of ridiculous examples, but are you thinking now about things that you can make a little easier? Okay, capability levers. I'll go through these really quick. You have resources, rigor, reach. So resources are like time, money, tools, skills, knowledge, assistance. If you need assistance to do something, though, don't bank on that being a habit. You got to rely on someone else. But what are tools, whether it's an app or a physical tool that can make something easier? Okay, rigor. Physical, mental, emotional. Doesn't have to take a lot of physical rigor or a lot of mental rigor to learn something, but it still might be enough to keep you from doing it. So how can you eliminate these where possible? And then finally, reach. When you're designing a habit, is it within reach of your current routine? I heard that Lifetime Fitness is building a beautiful new gym with pickleball courts in Paradise Valley. I really like pickleball. Anyone else? But you know what? I'm never driving through Paradise Valley. So it would be really stupid for me to get a membership at that gym because I'm not going to go. It's out of my current routine. So always think, can I put it within my current routine? Is it within reach? If not, probably won't become a habit. And then finally, make it satisfying. So the overachievers I work with, they hate this, but then they learn to love it. I want you to celebrate every time you do this new behavior. And immediately, so that your brain makes the connection between the action and the reward. So you get the dopamine hit. That's why we're all addicted to our screens and find ourselves in scroll holes, right? Use it to your advantage. So when you do this new behavior, anyone ever wadded up a piece of paper before and thrown it in a trash can and you sink it and you're like, yeah, something like that. That counts as a celebration, and it will make it so much more satisfying and make your brain crave doing that new behavior. All right, so revisit your intentions. How did we do? Do you feel the way that you want to feel? Did you learn something you were hoping to learn? I hope so. If not, come talk to me after. Maybe we can land the plane. And then finally, if you're writing a book, I'm actually hosting a retreat in Sedona. I have 2 more spots. So it's only for women though. Sorry guys, I feel like I'm excluding you a lot tonight. So if there are any female authors or soon-to-be authors in here that need time and space to write your book, come talk to me. I'll give you $250 off. And then if you were launching a podcast, craving depth or ready to level up, I would love to connect with you. Thank you so much for your time and attention, and let's go. 2020 Thrive.
right. Ready for Dr. Patty Gonzalez. She's the founder of Innate Roots, and she's going to help us deal with stress. Let's give a hand for her. At least, right?
What do you guys think? Are you ready to build some better habits? Yes, me too. I'm like taking notes over there feverishly in my brain. Going, okay, give me your slide deck at the end of this. Hopefully some of these videos work. So we're going to talk a little bit about the biology of stress. Anybody have stress in their lives? Now, if your hand is not up, then you're lying to yourself, and we need to build some better habits around that. So just a little bit about me to start. My name is Dr. Patty Gonzalez. I'm a retired chiropractor. I was 16 years in practice, and at the end of 21, I sold my practice because I decided that I needed to shift into doing what I was really loving with my clients, and that's coaching them and helping them in their overall health and not bending over them and killing my back in the process. I still see a chiropractor every week. I highly recommend it. And I also truly believe that we need to get back to what we call our innate roots. So every one of us was designed with a very unique health template. And so what I do with clients now is I help you find that again. This is a perfect group to give this analogy, but over and over again, I kept seeing a blueprint in my mind, and how, like, when that blueprint comes out of the tube and then gets opened up, or the page gets crinkled, or there's coffee spilled, or whatever it might be in the whole process of building, that's what happens to us in our organic, innate template, our blueprint that we're given in our health. So my job is to help you find that again. That's why my business is Innate Roots. So let's talk a little bit about the biology of stress. First and foremost, has anybody ever heard of the book? Oh my gosh, I'm talking. Oh my gosh, I talked about it. It's sitting on my desk. It'll come back to me. Anyway, the biology of stress is really about like what's happening on the inside. So most of us, well, we all live in a very high stress world. The book is Biology of Beliefs. We'll talk about it in a minute. It came back. See, it was floating around and smacked me in the head. So stress triggers, because we do live in such a high stress society. There's phones, there's clients, there's spouses, there's children, there's family members, whatever it might be. There's all of this that's pulling at us from one direction or another. And so we're constantly in what we call fight or flight. Whereas previously, in the caveman days, they were only in fight or flight when a saber-toothed tiger was actually chasing them. Well, here's the thing, our brain doesn't know the difference. Our brain doesn't really know that we're not in those caveman days anymore, and there's a saber-toothed tiger around the corner all the time. Every time a notification dings on your phone, it's like, oh my gosh, right? So I've made the habit of turning off all notifications on my phone, and my life is calmed much, much more than when I had all of them going off. So stress is going to figure that fight or flight, activating your cortisol and adrenaline. Brittany will talk a bit about that later, I'm sure. But when we have that chronic stress, we're going to actually start to dysregulate. Our body cannot handle being in that high stress state for too long. So it's going to create hormone imbalances, digestive upset, fatigue, weakened immunity. So how many of you find yourself, when you're really, really busy, all of a sudden you find yourself sick, or you're at an event and you're like, I just don't feel good because I've eaten something, or maybe you don't have an appetite at all? Anyone? Yeah, so that was me, chronically stressed, and I would forget to eat. My husband's like, how do you forget to eat? I'm like, I don't know, too many other things on my mind. Food was the last of them, because I was in this heightened awareness state all the time. Shayna did an amazing job in the beginning. I was like, thank God I didn't have to speak first, because I was way too relaxed. But she dropped us into what is called our rest and digest. So it's a more calm state. So if we can live, how many of you guys would love to live in this state right after the sound bath? Most of the time. Please show, most of your heads are nodding. How often do you actually find yourself in that state though? Right? So you all just agreed with me, you're all in a state of chronic stress, right? Which means your biology, what's happening on the inside, your cells can't function properly. So if your cells can't function properly, that means the organs aren't working quite right. And that creates an even bigger challenge. So what are some of the long-term effects and what creates in our body? Actually is a lot of inflammation. And inflammation is the root cause of pretty much every disease out there. So if you have a disease process, you're guaranteed to have inflammation. So Brittany, I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about how to reduce that. We tag team a lot on this. There's also going to be impaired lymphatic flow. Does anybody know lymphatic? A good handful of you. We're going to do a little bit of a lymph detox in a little bit. We're going to do the big 6 lymph points just to get you up and moving to kind of wake your nerve system up. But when our lymphatic system isn't flowing properly, it's going to impair our body's ability to detox. And we need to detox because we live in a really toxic world, and all of those emotional stresses too, the chronic stress that we have creates toxins, a toxic load. There's also, and has anybody heard of epigenetics? Yes, a little? No? Anybody with a no, tell me. I have no idea what epigenetics. Perfect. So this is most people. So have you heard of genetics, right? We all have genes or DNA. Here's the thing. Epigenetics is above. So how do we regulate our genes? Have you heard there's either genes are on or off? It's not true. I'm going to blow your mind in just a second. So how many of you worked with an architect before? Nobody? Come on. Everybody has. So you walk up to an architect who's looking at a blueprint and you ask them, is your blueprint on or off? And they'd be like, it's just a blueprint. That's the same thing as a gene. Your genes are like a blueprint. What's most important is the environment that you put those genes in. So you actually have control. This is where the Biology of Belief book comes in, where he talks about, and Dr. Bruce Lipton is the one who wrote the book, and he talks about he used to work with stem cells. And so he would have the exact same stem cells, 3 different petri dishes, and he could put them in a different medium, and one would create a muscle cell, and then the other one would create a heart cell, and then another one would create a different type of cell. So it's not about the cell, it's not about your genes, it's about the environment that you place it in. So if you're in an area of high stress all the time, what's happening to your system? Exactly, it's not going to function right. So here's the cool thing. Your mind is actually your contractor. You can either have a really great contractor or not so good. I'm sure you guys have experienced that as well. So your mind, you can either take it in, I'm going to create lots of positive thoughts and great habits, or I can have horrible habits, or I can have negative thoughts, and it will create more problems. So you're totally in control of your health and how you deal with stress. Easier said than done sometimes, I totally agree. However, that's where Elise is going to come in and help us create great habits. So the lymphatic system is, think about it like this, is the plumbing. If you didn't have plumbing in a home, would it work very well? No, right? So your plumbing, the lymphatic system, is actually going to help flush things through, which is why I'm going to help walk you through the lymphatic system tonight. So when we don't have a flowing lymphatic system, we're going to create toxic buildup, inflammation, and very sluggish healing. And then stress is actually going to directly impact that flow of lymph. So optimizing is actually going to boost your immunity, reduce inflammation, and then support your overall vitality. So how do we detox our lymph? Some of you guys are doing it this evening, drinking some water, which is amazing. There's something also called hydrotherapy. I'm actually in the process of writing a book. I need to probably go to a retreat to finish it. But this is a glimpse into the book. So hydrotherapy is actually water, right? So anybody do cold plunges? Yes, I love it. So you can also do this. Cold plunges actually will help to waken up, and then your body will respond after. You can also do the very same thing in a shower. So take a nice warm shower and then finish it with a cold. That pumping action will actually help to pump your lymph. Exercise of any shape and form is actually amazing as well. This includes stretching, yoga. You can do lifting weights. That's going to move your lymph. And then hydration, as we just talked about, you need to drink at least half your body weight in ounces. That's why we have the emotional support water bottle, because it allows us to hopefully drink 2 or hopefully 3 or 4 of them a day. And then the last but not least is breath work. So we did a little bit of breath work today. The reason that we do these things is because our lymphatic system doesn't actually have a pump. Our heart pumps our blood, right? There's no system that pumps our lymph unless we're doing it ourselves. So this is why it's so important to do it for our bodies. So you guys can scan this. There's also some handouts at the front, but I'm going to walk you guys through the big 6 lymph. So if you don't have anything on your lap, or even if you do, I'm going to have you guys stand up for just a moment, and we're going to walk through the big 6, and it's going to wake you guys up and get you ready for Brittany. All right. We'll go back. So for those of you who know a little bit about lymph, this is a way, and even if you don't, this is a way that you're going to help start to stimulate. So if you're sitting at your desk, or you've got that annoying client who's texted you for the 50th time and it's not even 8 a.m., right? This is something that you can do to like boost your lymphatic system and flush some things out. So we're going to start at the clavicle area, or the behind the ear. So you can just, you want to use a broad hand, and we're going to do like a circular stroke, leaning, going towards the back, 3 or 4. And then I want you to just gently tap. So we're going to do 3 things, and then you're going to rub. So it's circle, tap, rub. Then we're going to go down to, I'm going to switch sides just because of I'm going to have you guys stay on the left side. Hopefully you're on the left side. If not, it's okay. Stay on the side you're on. We're going to open everything on one side. I'm going to jack myself up, but I'll fix it later. So then you're going to go to collarbone, or the clavicle area. And we're going to start from out. Anytime we're working with lymph, we're going to go out to in. I messed the mic up. Anyway, so we're going to start outside, and we're going to tap. And then we're going to rub. And then we're going to go circle. Notice I didn't do that in the same order. That's okay. But it's tap, rub, circle, rub, tap, however you want to do it. Then we're going to come to the armpit area. If you are doing this on your own, really important, start with the left side. For whatever reason, God created our body that when we drain the left side first, it works way better. So I'm, again, jacking myself up just for you guys. So you're going to take armpit again. We're going to rub in a circle. And then you're going to tap, tap, tap. And then you're going to just rub one way. There you go. Now we're going to go to the abdominal area. You guys have just eaten, so we're going to move some food around. So again, tap, tap, tap. This is the, can you put your hand on your head and tap your belly? Just kidding, don't do it. Tap in a circle, and then rub. And then you want to just flush. For this one, I like to push towards my belly button, because there's kind of like, think of it as like a toilet bowl. It's going to drain all the way down. And then we're going to go to inside the groin area. So right where your leg bends, you're going to start. And I want you to start at the outside, and we're going to work our way in. So you're going to, tap, rub, circle, whatever you want to do. So I'm going to go this way. I'm going to go circle. And you're going to normally be doing this with both hands, not just one. So I just want you to open up one side, and so you could see the difference. Okay, now we're going to do back of the knee. So you're going to go behind the knee. Again, tap. Look, you guys are doing so good. Big taps down here. You're like, get it moving all the way out. And then circle, rub. And now I want you to just stand up and see how you feel in your body. Does one side feel a little bit more alive than the other? Yes. Right? This whole, the other side is like, I don't know what I'm doing over here. Maybe I'll get outside eventually. So important that you can, it's totally different, right? This whole side is tingling, even though like I did kind of a mixed match of like what was going on, but it was my left side. So how many of you think you'll use this? All right, go ahead and have a seat. Scan the QR code, you'll get it right to your phone. It's something you can leave on a picture on your phone, and you're like, okay, I'm doing this. If you want to go really crazy, spend several minutes on each side and really get in there. You can make this a whole like morning routine, would be great to do. I don't recommend doing this right before bed. It will wake you up. You actually, thank you, that's a great question. She asked, does it matter how much pressure you use? It actually does. Your lymphatic system is very close to the skin. So you don't want to push too deep, because you'll actually just kind of compress it, like stepping on a garden hose. So keep it nice and light. And you'll start to feel what, as you do it more and more, you're like, oh, that's the pressure I need. That's the tingle that I want to feel. So how can I help? So literally, I call myself a health concierge. Everybody is so unique and different. Your blueprints are all unique. So what we'll do is I focus on gut health. I look at some of the DNA things. I look at some of the SNPs that might be off, and we help with nutrition that way. I also look at some other root cause issues like mold, metals, and parasites. All the girls on the panel, we've done the parasite cleanses. Brittany and I are currently on one, and it's pretty life-changing. Talk about a New Year's resolution, get all the parasites out. I highly recommend. Also, a lot of lymphatic optimization. So since I'm writing the book, it's a lot of what I bring into my coaching. So really, I want to create a program that helps you feel vibrant. There is no cookie cutter in my world because no two of you are alike. So here's my contact details. I'm happy to do a 30-minute call with you just for more information, or you want to do a little bit more of a deep dive on what it is that I do. But I am honored and blessed. Thank you guys again for having me. I hope you enjoyed it and will take away and do some lymph detox on yourself. It's a total game changer. Once I started diving into this world, my health has transformed dramatically. So thank you so much, and be blessed.
Thank you, Patty. My right side is alive. Left side is dead. That was wonderful. Thank you. So now I'd like to invite Brittany Bahrano. I pronounced that right now. She is the founder of Be Fit Naturally, and she will help us with some daily activities to re-regulate our nervous system. So here she is, Brittany, for you.
Thank you. I usually talk really loud, so I don't normally need this, but I'll use it. So, so that's coming up. So my name is Brittany. I am the founder of Be Fit Naturally. And I have been a certified holistic nutrition practitioner for the past 12 years. I started off actually as my journey being a certified personal trainer, helping athletes. I did my first competition and I fell in love with it, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go and do that. So I became a personal trainer, worked with many people, but then after a little while, I started noticing that they are coming in 4 to 5 days a week, and they are not seeing the changes that they want to see in their body. Just nothing was really moving. And I knew that the one thing for me that changed when I did my competition was food, nutrition. It was the only thing, because I worked out just as hard as they did, or maybe even a little less, and my body changed. So I got into nutrition, and I actually started off as a fitness and nutrition nutritionist, and helped athletes, and took about 40 plus women to different fitness competitions, and it was great. It was wonderful. But during that time, I was going through my own health journey, and I crashed and burned, literally. And no doctor could figure out what was going on with me. I went to the doctors. I got all my blood work done. They sent me to a cardiologist because I was having heart palpitations. I was having panic attacks. The only way I could go to sleep at night was drinking Benadryl. That was it. I felt like an elephant was sitting on my chest before I'd go to sleep. All throughout the day, I was wired but tired. I was having anxious thoughts all the time. So I went and they looked at my blood work and they go, Brittany, nothing's wrong with you. All of your blood markers, your inflammatory markers, your hormones, everything looks amazing. I'm like, oh, that's great. Well, what's wrong with me? Don't know. Send you to a cardiologist. We'll have your heart checked. Send me to a cardiologist. They looked at everything and they went, your heart's fine. Just don't have any more caffeine. Don't have any more caffeine. That was what got me going in the day. I had to wake up. I had my little caffeine in the morning. It was great. I had eating well. I was taking all my supplements. I was, at the time, also helping to take care of my grandfather while building my business. And I was getting together with my now husband of 12 years. Yeah, but we were just starting off and everything was going great, and I just crashed. My grandfather at the time, he passed away, and it just broke my heart, and that was it. So I went back to school. I'm like, I have to figure out what is wrong with me. I have to go deeper. So I went back to school and I got my certification in Ayurvedic medicine, in Chinese and herbal remedies. I started going after more homeopathy, and I found out what my problem was. I was chronically stressed. The kind of stress she was talking about. I was chronically stressed. My entire body shut down. I had a hard time even going to the gym. I was working out 5 to 6 days a week. Couldn't even go to the gym because I was so chronically stressed. I would lift a 5-pound weight, I would get on the treadmill, and I'd have heart palpitations. I'd have to stop. And if that doesn't go, that's totally okay, because I'm probably not going to use it anyway. So that's a little bit about my journey. So it took me a year and a half. That seems like a long time, but it took me a year and a half to get my body re-regulated. And I had to completely change who I was to get there. I had to change from working out every day to walking my dog. And knowing that it was okay for me to leave my cell phone at home and I could walk my dog down the street and come back and I was gonna be okay. So it was me also talking to myself in the mirror and saying, hey, you're okay. You're not gonna die today. You're doing great. You got this. Because I needed to remind myself, I had to create the habits to remind myself I was okay, to reset my parasympathetic nervous system. I had to do cold plunges because it reset my parasympathetic nervous system. That's what a cold plunge does. And the cool part is I don't like doing showers. I know she recommended it. I don't recommend it. It is so much worse than getting into a bucket of water. But what I will say does the exact same thing as a cold plunge is getting a bowl of ice water and sticking your face in it. Your vagus nerve goes all the way up into your face and into your brain. So the moment the cold water hits, it sends that same electric charge through your entire vagus nerve. And it calms your body immediately. So if you're having a panic attack, if you're overly stressed, if you're having that moment, put your face in water. I promise you, you'll feel better in 5 minutes. You just stick it in there for as long as you can. So that's a little bit about my journey. So I decided that for me, I wanted to help people get out of chronic stress. Chronic stress leads to chronic inflammation, what Dr. Patty was talking about. It is 100% the root cause to every disease, every autoimmune issue, everything that is going on in our body. 100%. So where does stress come from? Does anyone know? Where does stress come from?
Life.
From life, it does. But in your body, where does stress come from? Me? Your adrenals. Adrenals. Do we know what the adrenals are? No. Yeah, so adrenals they're tiny little glands that sit right on top of your kidneys, right in your back. If you ever get a backache back there, it's probably either adrenals or kidneys. So when your adrenals sit on top of the kidneys, I'm going to go through a little biology with you, but when your adrenals sit on top of the kidneys and they're constantly pumping adrenaline, right, it raises our cortisol levels. But when it raises our cortisol levels, like Dr. Patty said, your body doesn't know the difference between you sitting at your desk drinking a cup of coffee and a bear chasing you down the street. Doesn't know the difference. Your mind and your body respond the exact same way, which is, I have to go. And your body is on drive, overdrive, right? And some people tell me, they're like, I don't have any problem with caffeine. Caffeine doesn't wake me up. Still affects your adrenals. It may not wake you up, but it still affects your adrenals. So from that standpoint, when your adrenals kick in and your adrenaline kicks in and your cortisol levels rise, it sends a signal to your liver. Dump sugar into the blood. It sends that signal. So now your liver dumps your excess sugar that's in there into your bloodstream. So now we have high blood sugar, okay? High glucose levels. When that happens, your body is expected to run. Your body is expected to get rid of that because it's sending a signal, I gotta go, there's a bear chasing me. But what do? We're sitting at our desk drinking our coffee. So our body has now high blood sugar. You do not have to eat sugar to have high blood sugar. You do not have to eat sugar to have diabetes. I see more times than not, more patients come to me with type 2 diabetes, not because they've been eating sugar, but because they're chronically stressed. Okay? So when your body has that and it has nowhere else to go, and your insulin is pumping from the pancreas and it's going, hey, I'm trying to pump as much as I can to bring down all this sugar from the blood. Your body goes, I can't do it anymore. That's the inflammation part. So now your body goes, oh, well, I'm just going to store this excess sugar as fat. That's where it's going to go. So then we start developing fat around our waist. We start developing fat around our arms, our thighs, our chins, wherever it goes. But that's where it starts to develop. And then we go, oh, I got to lose weight. And people don't want to give up coffee or caffeine, right? And they're like, it doesn't affect me. I know, I'm hitting a lot of sore spots, aren't I? With the caffeine part. I know, trust me. And guess what? I still drink coffee. But I drink decaf because honestly, because of my nervous system regulation and I'm sensitive to it, I just don't choose to drink the caffeine. But I do drink a really good quality decaf. My husband drinks the caffeine, but I drink decaf. And for me, it's different. I love the flavor. It's great, but I don't use it for energy, right? Now I've re-regulated my nervous system to where I wake up in the morning and I have great energy. I go throughout the day and I have really good energy until I go to bed and I lay my head down and I'm out. And it's because of this nervous system regulation that I've created and that I help clients to create that allows their body to come back into balance. When your body comes back into balance, if you're looking to lose weight, I promise you, you will. But we have to start with that foundation. Yes. It does. Yes. So if we're drinking coffee on an empty stomach, it raises it worse. If you drink coffee, which have we all heard of bulletproof coffee? Pretty much, right? So the whole reason behind bulletproof coffee is that you're having it with collagen and you're having it with fat. And so when you have it with collagen and fat, that's protein and fat, it now lowers our cortisol levels, brings everything back into balance so that we're not in that fight or flight mode. Now the caffeine part will still affect the nervous system just because that's what caffeine does. It just hypens up the nervous system. It's what makes us feel good from that standpoint. But yes, those things do help. Even drinking coffee or caffeinated drinks with food and having that is much better, right? So these are little things that I work with clients when it comes to stress, when it comes to inflammation, on what and how it affects the body, right? So again, hormonal dysregulation or hormonal imbalance usually comes from environment, from food, but mainly from stress. So I think we got it. Yeah, okay. I decided I'm going to go through with it really quick. All right, so again, understanding what inflammation is. We have acute, we have chronic. So Dr. Patty kind of went over that, but acute is like you have an infection, like a cold, or you have a little cut on your hand, and your body is like, oh, we're going to send out our soldiers, we're going to go and fix that. They go and they fix that, and then your body comes back into balance. There's no more inflammation. Chronic inflammation is when it's prolonged. It's when your body is in a state of stress, in a state of not being able to recover itself, and it continues. So our bodies are genetically made to regenerate, like completely regenerate. You can regenerate your entire liver if it is cut in half completely within a couple months to maybe a few years. Your body is made to regenerate. So our skin, our cells, everything in our body is made to regenerate. But when we're given the right tools to do that, when we're not given the right tools or we're in that environment, that toxic environment, that creates, again, that dysregulation. So, common things. Poor diet, such as processed foods, alcohol, sugar, things a lot that we hear and we talk about, all those things. All those things are the things that create that dysregulation in the body. It creates that hormonal imbalance. And it creates that weight gain, right? The next is stress. That's the main thing we've been talking about. So stress creates that inflammatory, it triggers that inflammatory response immediately and constantly. So if we're constantly stressed, again, in our mind, in our work life, with kids, with our job, with running around, whatever it is, stress is creating that constant inflammatory issue. Lack of sleep. We hear it all the time. You've got to get good sleep. Make sleep a priority. It is challenging at times, especially when your kids don't want to go to sleep. I have 2 of them. Sometimes they just don't want to go to sleep. But when you lack sleep for such a long period of time, your body is no longer able to regenerate, because that is when you heal. That is when you recoup, is during your sleep. And the best time, ultimately, to get to bed is by 10 o'clock, ultimately. And you want to stay asleep between 12 and 2. Like, you really don't want to wake up between that 12 and 2, especially for men. For women, and I'll tell you why. For women have a trickle effect of what's called HGH. Have we heard of HGH? Okay, so human growth hormone. We have a trickle effect because we're able to have babies, and babies keep us up at night, and so we need to still produce HGH along the way. So throughout the day, we are actually trickling HGH, but we still get the majority of that between 12 and 2. And what that does is that helps us to repair and to recover, okay, and rejuvenate. For men, you only produce it between 12 and 2. Only, ever. So if you're not getting good sleep between that time, or you're waking up, there's a reason for it, for you waking up at that time, but it's also the time that you're getting the least amount of rejuvenation to actually re-heal your body, okay? And then in regards to toxins, so we have environmental toxins. We have toxins that are sprayed into the atmosphere. We have toxins that are sprayed on our food. We have heavy metals in our foods. We have glyphosate. You name it, we have it, right? Unfortunately. But it's my job and my passion to inform people on how to make the best decisions for your body, for you, so that you can live a healthy life as long as you want to live, so that you can keep recovering and be feeling good as much as you want to. Because I don't want anyone to ever go through the burnout I went through, ever. At any age, doesn't matter. It sucks, okay? I'm almost 40, and for me, it is like my purpose in life to give that to other people. So I just wanted to say that. So next, how can we start to balance hormones? So we talked about reducing stress. What are some ways that we can reduce stress? Some of the ways that we can reduce stress, like we talked about, was cold plunging, getting our face, re-regulating our nervous system. Other ways to reduce stress is setting boundaries, like we also talked about, which I loved. The next thing in regards to reducing stress is get rid of your kids. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. No, but set up boundaries with your kids. I'm learning that one. But one of the biggest things in reducing stress is through our food, right? So through our food options is going to reduce the amount of stress that we have going on in our body so that our body can recover, okay? Next is improving sleep quality, again, getting to sleep by about 10 p.m., helping your body to sleep. There are several things that you can take, which are on the back of this sheet that I have, which we'll go over in just a moment. But improving your quality of sleep, if you're not sleeping well, that's what we have to focus on first, right? That is the biggest thing. Next is we have enhancing insulin sensitivity. So we want to make sure that we're eating foods that don't raise our blood sugar significantly, but we're also looking at things that we drink and how we exercise and things like that. So if we're exercising, people ask me all the time, what's the best time to exercise? Cardio in the morning, weight training at night. That's usually the best way to exercise. You can still do weight training in the morning, but if people wanted to do both, cardio in the morning and weight training at night. And for cardio, no more than 20 minutes. No more than 20 minutes. Do a HIIT train, 20 minutes, be done. Get in, get out, be done, okay? So increasing that insulin sensitivity really is main priority, especially if you know somebody who has diabetes, type 2 diabetes. If you are type 2 diabetic, these are things that will help. Again, and also incorporating more of an anti-inflammatory lifestyle, which we will talk about. Next is reducing inflammation, again, through anti-inflammatory strategies, supplements, and also foods. And then eat more of a balanced meal. So what does that look like? Having lean meats, having good vegetables, fruits, and then also really good fats, right? So we don't want the trans fats, and we also want to be careful on like how we're cooking with fat, right? I get a lot of clients that come to me and they're like, oh, I cook with really great oils. I'm like, great, what do you cook with? Olive oil. Worst oil to cook with. Has anyone heard that? Yes? Okay, good. Worst oil to cook with. When you heat up, even on the slightest amount of heat, when you heat up olive oil, it completely transitions it into, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a trans fat, but it changes it into what's called AGEs in the body, advanced glycation ends. This is what deteriorates your collagen. So these things, like just simple little things like that. Now put olive oil all over your cooked food already. Just don't cook with it. But it's great for you from that standpoint.
What do you recommend?
To cook with? My favorite ones, yes, I love that. My favorite ones, like if you're gonna cook steak or beef, you can cook it with tallow, but my most favorite is actually ghee. It's clarified butter. And the reason why is that it has what's called butyric acid in it. Butyric acid helps to completely reheal the gut. It also reconnects your gut with your brain better, which is called the gut-brain axis, and butyrate is one of the best ways to be able to do that. So you're reconnecting mind and body. Great question. So creating lasting results, which is a little bit of what we were already talking about, working on the mind, the body, environmental, getting that anti-inflammatory lifestyle going, making more holistic choices and movement, and then also just seeing what are some of the things that we can make, that we can make into habits, right? It's not about doing it all overnight because that's a lot. It's not real. So we make little habits, we make small changes. So if you're cooking with olive oil, start cooking with ghee. If you're not drinking water first thing in the morning, drink water first thing in the morning. If you're not, if you're eating past 9 o'clock at night, eat before 8 o'clock, right? So these are small changes that are doable, and that's again what we want to do. Oops, where did I go? Here we go. Again, to ignite the burn, to get your body's metabolism kicked in. Simple things like green tea is very good for fat burning. Having a little bit of capsaicin or chili flakes, or what's the word? I know it's capsaicin in a capsule, but cayenne, thank you. Cayenne pepper is amazing for getting that burn. A lot of people want to take like actual thermogenic burn. Don't do it. It completely heats up, overheats your intestines and your body. That's why you have to sweat and burn more. Take capsaicin. It will not only help prevent strokes, it will not only help prevent heart attacks. If you know a person who's having a heart attack in the moment, literally put capsaicin or put cayenne pepper down their throat. It will slow down that process because it thins the blood immediately. Okay, it's amazing. So again, balanced exercise, avoid extreme diets. If you've ever been on one, an extreme diet looks like having less than 1,300 calories. If you've ever done it, you have set yourself into more of a metabolic issue, right? So you're slowing down your metabolism. You're shutting off that fat burning. Also, extreme diets can be, depending if you're going too much into an intermittent fasting diet. For women, you have to be sensitive when you're doing intermittent fasting. Men, again, you can do it however long. You can do 1 meal, 2 meals, 3 meals, however much you want. You're good. But for women, you have to be sensitive. It is not the same, okay? All right, so creating that lasting change, again, adopting more of that anti-inflammatory lifestyle, staying consistent with it. And the biggest thing in staying consistent is with your timing. Again, for men, you don't have to be as consistent because you don't have what's called the female fat cell, which our body goes into protection mode in case we have a baby. Even if you don't want one, or even if you're in menopause, your body still goes, no, sorry, I'm gonna hold on to that just in case. For men, you don't have that, which is nice and it's great, but it's also very frustrating to us ladies when we're trying to lose weight. So, consistency or staying consistent with your timing, ladies, is very important. I always recommend having at least 1 meal every 3 hours from the moment you start to the moment you're done in the day. Okay? Every 3 hours keeps your blood sugar consistent, but not too much to where you're snacking in between. So usually about 4 meals a day. Next, again, of course, manage stress and then move your body. And then here are some client testimonials who not only did my anti-inflammatory program, but also did what is an amazing product. It is a homeopathic product that Dr. Patty actually brought to me and I started utilizing with clients, but these are some of their testimonies based off of these drops, which are body balancing drops. And they are, again, completely homeopathic, but they allow the body to bring down cortisol levels, balance your blood sugar, and also help to re-regulate your hormones, which when you bring down your stress and you bring down your blood sugar, your body naturally re-regulates as well, but it does help with weight loss. So here's just a few people that we have for testimonies. No, if I'm in your way. And then here we go. So my anti-inflammatory program, there's a couple things I want to share with you guys before I'm done. But I have a 30-day anti-inflammatory program. It's 4 weeks. It's completely laid out for you. You do get a whole bunch more additives to it on how to detox your gut, how to detox your liver, all the foods. The 4-week plan literally breaks down every week for you in all the recipes, all the grocery lists, everything. So it's a great way to kickstart, if you have that New Year's resolution, to kickstart that anti-inflammatory program and be able to bring down cortisol levels, be able to rebalance your hormones, and get inflammation out of your body. So if you guys are interested in that, there is, thank you. That's cool. There is one of these. It does have a barcode, so you can go ahead and scan it if you want. It is normally $297, but today, as a special, it's only $27. That's it. It's really, really cheap for you guys. I wanted to do it cheap so that you guys can take advantage of it and know that it's really to help benefit you from that standpoint. So the next thing, and the last thing, so I always offer for my clients a free 30-minute consultation. You guys are more than welcome to schedule a consultation with me if you are interested. I do go over hormone testing. I do go over gut health and getting your body back into balance based off of the routine that you have. So it's not such a program, but it's more conducive to your actual lifestyle. And then what I've offered you guys today is just 8 tips to help reduce the inflammation and reduce the stress, as well as balancing your hormones. They are all free. They are all things that you can take advantage of. And then on the back, I wanted to recommend some supplements for you guys. These are amazing for helping your body not only get rid of inflammation, but helping to bring your cortisol levels down, bring your stress levels down, and sleep better at night. All right? So thank you so much for this time. I really appreciate it. Oh, and these are up front. Thank you, Patty. These are all up front if you want to scan the QR code or things like that. So, thank you.
How do you all feel now? Lighter? What an informative evening this was. Thank you so much to our incredible panelists. Thank you, Shanna, for such a lovely, relaxing time. And thank you, Ferguson, for hosting us here. And thank you all for being here. We appreciate you so much. And see you at our next Concepts and Cocktails, second Wednesday of February, and next chapter meeting on 20th February. Thank you again.